Hello and welcome to the first 2Touch podcast. I'm your host Nathan, and today I'm joined by 4 co-hosts who are also members contributing to the website, which are Dan, Ryan, Ross and Gregor. Coming up in today's podcast, we'll be looking at the World Cup ahead this year in Russia, and all picking our own dark horses and who we think has an outside shout. We'll be looking at the Italian job and managers linked with a move this summer to clubs including Arsenal and Chelsea. Maybe will Brendan Rodgers leave Celtic, who knows? And we'll be looking at Motherwell's success and their accomplishments this season, reaching 2 cup finals. And we'll be looking at the team of the season across Europe's top 5 leagues, and also the weekend preview. First of all, we'll start with Ryan and the World Cup this summer.
Well, as you are probably all aware, the World Cup is this year, and it's in Russia. And there are plenty of teams that are in with a shout of winning it, I feel. But I would say probably the favourites just now are Germany. Germany have about 3 teams, not just the one, that they could bring out. And
well, who do you, if you're going Germany as your favourite, if they're like, say, your bookies odds almost, they're like, if you're looking at kind of bookies, they cite what, Germany, France, Argentina, Brazil. If you're going Germany, say Germany's your favourite, who would you go as kind of an outside shout?
well, for an outside shout, you can't really look past Belgium as well, because Belgium have got an incredible pool of players. Even
would you consider Belgium an outside shout though, considering all the talent that they have?
Well, due to the fact that they've got a new manager as well, in Roberto Martinez, and they've got an assistant manager in Henry, they're still trying to figure out how to play with each other. And even with, they've came up short in games.
I think over here on the other side of the table, I think me and Gregor have definitely devised that Spain could be, they're not favourites, I don't think they'll be odds-on favourites. I think Germany, Belgium, France, they'll be in there, especially maybe Brazil could be seen as outsiders. But for us now, I think Spain could be the dark horses in this competition, not only to win it all, but they'll even get a player of the campaign. They've got great midfield, their defence, their strike force could be a wee bit lacklustre, but I think they've still got enough plenty of depth to go in and win it.
I think the players they've got at the moment, with De Gea, Ramos, Piqué, etc. I think a lot of people overlook Spain just because of like their accomplishments that they've already done. But for me, I'm putting money on Spain or Brazil. I think, but Spain definitely for a good shout.
I think I'd also have Spain as my favourites. Watching them dismantle that Argentina side, I know they didn't have Messi, and Argentina obviously aren't famed for their defensive qualities, but I think all Spain are missing is a David Villa calibre number 9, and Alvaro Morata in the next couple of years can maybe become that if he kicks on at Chelsea.
Can Costa fill in, do you think, in the summer?
I think Costa's exactly what Spain need at the moment. They need a big target man to complement your likes of Isco, and they've got Rodrigo Moreno from Valencia, sorry.
Even then, they've still got Aspas as well.
Iago Aspas has been in terrific form this season.
Not only bring your Maratas and Costa, who are big target men who can bring the ball down and bring in your wingers and your attacking players into play, but someone like Aspas who can bring out a different option and play a different style of play.
I would say that Spain have a lot of like sort of nice, like aesthetically pleasing players on the ball, but I feel like they need like a Diego Costa in there that'll go and do the dirty work, that'll go and piss defenders off basically, and just go in about it and just win challenges. And I feel like they need that wee bit of aggression because they can be a wee bit lacklustre on the physical side at times.
So moving on, for Spain and all the big teams, is there any proper dark little teams? Like England?
There's always. I wouldn't say England.
Well, me English personally, I can see what Southgate's doing, but I see a project that he's starting, but the players that he needs for it are all in the under-18s and the under-21s.
I think that unless Harry Kane and Raheem Sterling go out and have an absolutely terrific tournament, or there's another breakthrough, if he maybe puts Jadon Sancho on the plane and he goes and is excellent.
Well, I think England, this is like what I want to say, England aren't going to win it, so have fun. Bring Ryan Sessegnon, bring Jadon Sancho, play Marcus Rashford, Raheem Sterling, Lingard, whoever, because you're not going to win it, so like don't take it seriously.
Would you put Phil Foden on the plane?
I wouldn't take Phil Foden. I would take Sessegnon because he's played 30 plus games for Fulham
Player of the season in the Championship.
Every like big competition you get, England are always outside kind of dark horses, if you'd like, but they actually have not bad depth in the squad. Their strikers have got great options. Their midfield might not be the most flashy on the ball in the world, but they've still got, if they play a certain brand of football to dig in and get results, they just get the ball out to their pacey strikers, and a world class athlete like Harry Kane could put the ball in the net, they could go far in the competition.
But has that not always been England's problem? They've always had that on paper.
Exactly.
Like Scholes, Lampard.
Well,
See, I think-
exactly, but at the same time, when you see when Scholes was in that squad, he was played out left for no apparent reason. That was probably one of the best midfielders of their generation, if not the best team of their generation, with Lampard and Scholes, but the system was wrong.
I just think England, for the first time in a long time, they've gone from having like the likes of Rio Ferdinand, Ledley King before he was injured, David Seaman. They've always had a solid backline and goalkeeper, whereas now
Chris Smalling and John
they're
Stones.
talking about Jordan Pickford being the number one, and I don't massively rate Jordan Pickford.
I
think
personally
Jack
like.
Butler's got to be in there.
From an England fan's perspective, I'd put Jack Butland in, but if Southgate's going with a back three and he's putting Kyle Walker as one of the centre backs, and who else is he looking at? Harry Maguire and James Tarkowski. Stones hasn't played for 3 months, and apparently he's injured. And Chris Smalling puts the fear of life into most people.
I think that's part of the problem. It doesn't know what starting 11 he's going to go for. He may have a good idea about midfield and attack, but I don't think he's got a clue.
I think now, like, harping back to the original thing, the dark horses, my personal dark horses would probably be Croatia.
Just took it off me there, mate. I was going to say the exact
Just
same
because
thing.
of the depth of quality they
midfield.
have in the middle. They have Brozovic, they have Modric, they've got Kovacic. It's just it's if you play a midfield three with them, feed Mario Mandzukic, Marco Piazza if he has a good tournament,
Even Perisic.
Ivan Perisic.
Mandzukic is a good flutter to have. top
Mario
goal scorer.
Mandzukic has been
Scored
consistently
big
one of the most
goals in
underrated
Well, you're not
strikers in
looking at,
Europe.
but with that Croatia team, it's kind of their last tournament before they transition, because you're looking at Perisic, Mandzukic,
Vedran
Rakitic.
Chorluka, the ankles
Modric
on
as well.
They're all creeping to the wrong side of 30. And I think,
Benkovic, but then you've got the kind of next generation, of course, like Kovacic to anchor it. Marcelo Brozovic isn't too old.
yeah, Pijaka as well.
Pijaka,
is
yeah.
33.
Philip Benkovic from
Modric's
Dinamo
got
Zagreb.
one more.
Modric will maybe have one more in him when
Yeah.
he's 35, 36.
I think it'll be really interesting in the World Cup to see the Egyptian king himself, Mo Salah, and his team. How far do you think they can go?
See,
Oh, it was a big sigh there.
Well,
That's
if you look at that group, it's Russia, Saudi Arabia themselves, and Uruguay.
It's not a-
I'd
it's
fancy
not
them
the
to go
worst team in the
second.
world.
I'd fancy them to go
Russia's a hard
second.
team,
So, the last tournament, people are saying, well, Uruguay, they came second to Costa Rica,
To Costa Rica.
in a group
Yeah,
with
that
England
point,
and Italy. And
Italy have been a bit atrocious at tournaments since 2006 and
so,
2012.
are we going Uruguay to top that group, or do you think Russia have?
Nah, I'd say Uruguay to top. I don't even know if I'd fancy Russia to get out of it.
Yeah.
Because who
Because
you're
I
looking
think
at? You're looking at
Egypt-
Golovin, and that's it for Russia.
Golovin and Smolov, Zhukov,
No, Dajubla.
he
Zhagalev.
scored at the
or
weekend.
Zubia,
I don't know how to
but-
say that. those names.
Spartak.
So what, are we going Uruguay and Egypt for that group?
Hopefully, that's what I'd like
I'd
to
say
see.
Uruguay, Egypt.
I think it'll be,
Because if Egypt go through, they'll play.
I think put it this way: aside from Luis Suarez, Mohamed
if-
Salah's a
if-
standout
But
player
you
in the
think
group.
about it, if
so-
Egypt come first, they'll play second in Group B, and if they come second, they'll play first in Group B. And Group B's Portugal, Spain, Morocco, and Iran. So if you're presuming Portugal and Spain go through, Egypt play one of them in the round of 16 if they go through.
And that's either one of the best teams in the world or Ronaldo.
it's going to be more difficult for Egypt though, because it looks as if Mohamed El Nene's out for it because he gets stretchered
Yeah,
off at the
he's
weekend. I mean,
bad
he
injury, but-
in his own right, he's a good player. He's obviously playing for Arsenal. I know Arsenal get a hard time and they get slagged a lot, but he is a good player. He is playing at a high level, and he is a good player. But it'll be interesting to see what happens with him.
What,
So-
Belgium then?
Well, it's all about who plays with Belgium.
Can we consider
I don't think you
Belgium
can
as a
call
dark
Belgium a
horse
dark horse
because of
anymore.
their talent?
I don't even think they're a dark horse. I think
Yeah.
I think that there may be a pool of talent that's just not
I think
kicked on.
they're,
Looking,
they're,
yeah.
they're a B-Tech Germany at the moment. They've got the players, but unlike
They
Germany,
don't have fullbacks.
They don't have the system either.
Yeah. They've got
Well, Jan
many. They
Vertonghen
don't.
at
They don't
left
have a
back.
left back.
Yeah,
I mean-
Vertonghen in my mind is one of the best centre backs out of Belgium,
Aye.
probably the world.
And he still can't. Start.
Can they rely on if the
I mean, a team
if
that
they're
brings
playing
Dedrick
Vertonghen
Boyata
left
to a
back,
World Cup.
they've what Alderweireld hasn't been playing. Can they rely on Company to be fit for a whole tournament? And then they've got Dendonka,
I don't-
who's
I-
a centre mid.
I think they have to.
Dedrick Boyata's
At
going.
this stage, I think they have to just rely that company can go over and have a successful campaign. Because if they can, the options there for Belgium are really bare at the back.
Yeah.
I think they're kind of like a quarter final away from stepping up into
Yeah.
that next
Yeah.
bracket. I think if they got to like a
But then, do you think
Quarter-final
you'd have the
World Cup.
confidence, should you have, say, put money in Belgium at the start of a tournament, if they'd got to
Yeah,
that
good
quarter
prices.
final
Well,
and
you're
they
thinking-
meet a Germany, they meet a Brazil, they meet an Argentina?
Well, you're presuming Belgium can get to quarter final. They're in Group G with England, so if they would play someone from Group H, and you're looking at Colombia and Japan and Senegal in that group.
Colombia are always funny at World Cups.
Yeah.
They touched on it there, Dan, Brazil. Now, for me, I don't see Brazil as a favourite in a World Cup anymore. They've lost that.
They've got a
stardom power.
very, very good team though.
I don't think they're in the same bracket though as a Germany.
Will Neymar be fit?
An unfit Neymar.
Yeah,
might-
Neymar will
Well,
be
I'd
fit.
like
He'll
to
make
see-
himself fit. He'll
I'd definitely like to see him at the World Cup because, I mean, this is a kind of show stage where the big players step up and then
Yeah.
they go and do it for their country. So a guy like Neymar, who remember was injured at last World Cup, it would be really devastating to see him again lose out.
Do you think he's going to focus on that, or do you think he's going to focus on trying to get a move away from PSG in the summer?
I think he's more of a selfish player than some. I know he really wants to win the World Cup to be mentioned with like Pele and Ronaldo and Ronaldinho and
I think
everyone in Brazilian history,
he's still
but
got
I
time
think
to do
he's
that. I think he's too short-sighted. to
he's
really
he's
win.
showed. I think he showed by
I think he just
leaving.
wants to go and play at the World Cup. Why would you not?
I know, like, but I think
it's
he
Why would
did
you not
still
want to?
show by leaving Barcelona the way he did, and now the way he's acting at Paris Saint-Germain that he cares more about himself than he
But I
cares.
think because he
But
has
that
that
might
drive,
that might help Brazil,
he's going to be thinking in his head 4 years ago, I could have maybe took.
because again this is the
we
last
could have
one
got
that will be
past
in his
Germany
prime.
if I didn't have that back injury, and he's going to blame that on himself. It's either going to put all the pressure on him and he's going to perform, or he's just going to crumble under it.
Because again he'll be like what 30 or 31 next time the World Cup runs round.
Mhm.
So
I feel like he's got less pressure on him this time, purely because the World Cup isn't in Brazil this time. There was so much expectation on him, but even now, I mean, you've got players that are coming in as well. You get Coutinho this World Cup, you've got Gabriel Jesus this World Cup, you've
Yeah.
got Douglas Costa. There's so many other players that can get him out of trouble.
Do you think it's a good or bad thing with the manager kind of naming a starting 11 before the tournament's even gone on? Did any of you see that? Where he's kind
Yeah, I did see that, but I think it does push other players on towards the end of the season.
He's put Jesus in, but he's not put someone like Roberto Firmino in, who's been performing all season.
it's still time to change it.
So
But
he's basically, what he's done is he's gone with
His favourite.
Neymar on the left, Jesus up front, Willian on the right, and Coutinho behind
Good
Jesus.
team. It's good
Coutinho in there
So-
as well.
it's been weird as well because they change captains all the time.
Yeah.
They do.
He's still got Danny Alves in that.
Casemiro and Paulinho. And
So
Marcelo.
moving away from the World Cup, do we want to go into the so-called Italian job? So manager Merrygoround in the summer. Arsenal, we've had the news that Wenger's leaving. We know that Conte's leaving. So Ross, do you want to speak a little bit about that?
Well, as you say, it's a bit of a manager roulette here, and we'll start off the Italian job. Ancelotti, favourite now for the job. And what's your thoughts?
It's a big job.
I think it's quite a safe appointment, to be
that's
honest.
a
'Cause he's got plenty.
difficult one to follow.
It is a difficult one to follow. I feel like their best manager in recent times was Conte, the way they played, given the resources that they had at the time. Because they've been running out of talent for a wee while now. There's not been as many good players coming through. But I feel like Ancelotti can get the best out of that group of players. Obviously, there's a couple of players that have been underperforming, but
Do you think this is a rebuilding job for Italy? Is this where we're okay?
has
we've
to be.
missed the
Absolutely.
World Cup,
I think
we
it
need
has to
now
be.
go and do it?
They
He
have an
has-
aging squad as well.
yeah.
No, definitely.
He has a
Back line.
couple friendlies to kind of experiment before the
It's against-
UEFA Nations League starts.
it's
So
against Saudi Arabia, isn't
Because
it?
how
Weren't their
we
first
talking about
friendly?
is their kind of fabled back line.
yeah,
But the thing is
Giorgio
with Italy,
Chiellini, Barzagli and
Bonucci.
Leonardo Bonucci,
Italy
who
can
are all
always build.
mid-30s.
Italy have always been known for their very resilient defence, very slow, patient defenders who can play the ball, but yet again don't concede a lot of goals. So surely there's got to be youth players that are coming through the ranks in the next 4 years.
Is Ancelotti going to stick with a back three, do you think?
I think he has to.
Has he ever put the back?
Not
I don't
from
think,
memory,
not
no.
that I can remember. They always had
But the
had
Italians are
fullbacks,
so
but the Italians don't
stuck
have
in it.
many good fullbacks now.
Yep.
Andrea Conte is the only one that
Good to Sigurd.
comes to mind, and Antonio.
Deschamps-
Aye,
Does
Matteo
Shiro
De
then get
Sciglio.
stuck with Matteo Damian?
Florenzi.
who's-
And then Daniele Rugani is the only one that comes to my mind coming through, and I think
Centre-back, yeah.
we've glazed over probably the biggest loss Italy are going to have is Buffon.
Yeah.
He's not coming back.
But
do you
at
know
the
what I
same
mean?
time, there you've got Donnarumma.
Is
who can come
Donnarumma
through the-
capable?
I don't know if
They've got-
Donnarumma's anywhere near as good as anyone.
Yeah, but he's got plenty of time.
He's
there.
right
He's not a
now-
young guy.
Right now,
19,
I think they should put in Perrin from Genoa. He's a great goalkeeper, and I
don't know
think
if
he's
I
been
d-
severely underlooked the past couple of
I think
seasons.
Buffon's picked that
Aye,
Donnarumma.
it's the pressure for any Italian goalkeeper now, but how do you follow that?
I know.
Yeah.
But I suppose probably a lot of people thought that with Dino's off.
Yeah, it's
and
a
then
story with a
Buffon
lot of
followed him.
positions in a lot
So-
of teams. Like, how do you follow?
Right.
How do you
So
follow
that-
Messi when he's done? How do you follow
I know.
Ronaldo?
We're
So
touching
talked
on a
about Ancelotti. Who else are we going for?
We were touching on a while there just because that league job was up and who was going to get it, and now it looks like Ancelotti may get the job when Conte at Chelsea was really linked with it. Where does this leave Conte at Chelsea?
It looked like he was going to go to Milan.
It
and
did
then
look like Milan, didn't
Gattuso
it?
got
Yeah.
his new contract, so I think he should go to Arsenal, and that's for my Spurs
Is,
fans.
is Massimiliano Allegri staying at Juventus? or-
Yes.
I think he'll-
He's been ruled out from the Arsenal job in terms of the bookies
And then
side.
there's obviously
Would you
the
leave
one
Juventus
that,
for Arsenal, but
no.
they'll
No.
have
Not at this
Massive
point,
step
no.
back.
The one that's always thrown up whenever any manager job, whether it be, like, I mean, I'm sure he'll be linked with Arsenal as well, but he's been definitely very strongly linked with Italy, is Roberto Mancini.
It's a totally different playing field because the Arsenal job's available now, and it's been, what is it, 22 years since
Not
that.
as glamorous a job.
I know it's not as glamorous a job, but they still are a big team.
Well, they pay the manager 10 to 12 million pounds a year, so surely anyone's going to jump on that.
It's
Almost.
true.
At the same time, but like, you look back at Manchester United when Ferguson left, and he left a squad not riddled with amazing talent, and they chose David Moyes, who came in, arguably should have deserved to maybe stay on a wee bit longer, should have went, it's your own opinion, but at the same time, they didn't really build a winning formula like Fergie did over the years. Now you've got Arsenal, who I don't think are in the same position as United, because they've not been in the top four consistently the last 5 years. They're not winning trophies like Manchester United did with Ferguson. You need to get this appointment right, or,
Yeah.
or Arsenal could suffer for
Arsenal
another
are
5
Do
years.
you, well,
Yeah.
do you think it can? Man United sacked Moyes because he took champions to 7th, whereas Arsenal are finishing 5th or 6th this season. So, say if they bring in, say, Thomas Tuchel and they miss out on the Champions League by a point next season, is it fair if he gets sacked?
Well, I mean, you looked at when Louis Van Gaal took over as Man United boss, and he eventually left. His and Moyes' points and the win ratio, it wasn't too far apart. But yeah, everyone was thinking, oh yeah, Van Gaal was a better manager than Moyes.
Because he'd done it.
But do you
With Bayern
think?
Munich and-
Exactly.
But the Arsenal board have kept Wenger in because of a business
Loyalty.
side of thing. It was good business. Man United sacked Van Gaal. Yes, he won an FA Cup, but because he didn't get Champions League football that season, that's why he left.
Well, you look at the Arsenal fans and how impatient they are this season and last season. See if you bring in whoever it is that's going to come in and they don't perform right away, is there going to be a backlash for the same way as Moyes, the bad Moyes got it?
I don't think so.
No.
I think
No.
the fact that they've waited almost like 4 years to get rid of Wenger, for some people, for like the minority spreading into the majority over the last 2 years to get rid of him, I think they would give a manager at least 2 or 3 seasons, because they've been with the same one for 20 odd. I think they could wait 5 years for a bit of success if they were happy with the appointment that they go for.
I think that the comparison between Arsenal and Manchester United, it's the risk of sounding a bit not stupid, but I think it's two totally different philosophies behind why the because Man United had, up until Sir Alex had left and then obviously they sacked Moyes, they were successful all the time. 2 Champions Leagues in the decade, multiple league titles,
It's a winning mentality.
a few cups, whereas Arsenal, Invincibles, pretty much nothing to show for it since.
3 FA Cups in the last
3
4
FA
years.
Cups.
In the last 4 years, so
It's
not what fans want, is it?
English football isn't about the FA Cup anymore. It's not like the 80s or the 90s.
Especially when your rivals are
When
progressing. Even though they're not winning trophies, they're still
still far ahead of you.
progressing.
The main reason why I think I'd make an argument for Thomas Tuchel to get the Arsenal job is purely because of the players that they signed in the January transfer window. It's obvious that Aubameyang and Mkhitaryan played their best football under Thomas Tuchel, and if they want to get the best out of them, then obviously they should sign the coach that they were playing the best football for.
Did Mkhitaryan play under Tuchel?
Uh-huh.
yeah.
I mean,
I don't know.
Thomas Tuchel to get the job would be. I think he's probably up there with one of the best managers that are available in the market.
Well, is he going
I mean,
to
he
PSG?
was up for the
Is he
PSG
going?
job.
Yeah, I think he's going PSG.
But
Yeah,
I think I've seen it's either Tuchel or Conte for PSG.
But for Arsenal, a wee bit closer at home would be the Celtic manager Brendan Rodgers. Dan, you might not want to hear that,
Don't
but
want to hear that at
I
all.
hope it goes.
his name's been chucked in the media. Not too loudly, but
Not,
what's your thoughts? If
I mean,
Rodgers
not
was to-
not that I'm gonna kind of massively downplay anything Brendan Rodgers has done, but I don't think that's who Arsenal need.
No,
I think
I'm
they
a-
probably need somebody better than Brendan Rodgers to fix that.
Yeah.
I don't think Brendan Rodgers is a bad manager. I just don't think Brendan Rodgers is as good a manager as a lot of Celtic fans make him out
Would
to
he
be.
get spending power at Arsenal?
I
He
don't.
has to.
I don't think it matters if because he's shown. I mean, again, just because Celtic lost to Hibs at the weekend, this has been a build up of a. Obviously, me being a Celtic fan, it's been poor all season. I know we're going to I mean, aside for the banana peel of Motherwell in that Scottish Cup final, as Gregor cracks that smirk, I think, I don't know, it's not been inspiring this season, has it? It's not been good to watch, and you've seen with his signings, he's not really, aside from Moussa Dembele, there's not really been much. Olivier and Chams looked good in flashes, but there's not been much in terms of a terrific signing for Brendan Rodgers.
Invincible season.
I think the problem with Rodgers is it's the same mould. It's maybe not the same mould, but the same way Wenger is. He brings in a lot of midfielders, overstocks in midfield. So players that are kind of really talented and young players. Like you look at Ryan Christie's been shipped out to Aberdeen, and you've got even Scott Allen may not be the most like the biggest star in Scottish football. He should be in. He should be in with a shout against a game. And then you go at the time there with Arsene Wenger, who can't set up a defence. Rodgers.
Can't set up a defence.
If Boyata's still at Celtic next season, it just shows like Rodgers doesn't have a plan.
He's is he rejected a new contract or something?
No, I don't know.
He says he wants to play in the Premier League.
He says he wants to play. He's nowhere near good enough.
I don't know what Premier League. I hope it's not the English Premier League. He's get found out every week.
He gets found out.
He does get found out here. I think Celtic are looking towards the future as well.
Rodgers and Wenger are two the same. They show a lot of loyalty to players, as we've seen this season with Rodgers. I know Scott Sinclair's Celtic's top scorer, but I think not scored since January.
At the same time, see for Celtic fans, is that a demand of coming off one of the greatest seasons in our history? You know, they're undefeated, they win the treble, and now they come to the season still comfortably top of the league. Scottish Cup final and the League Cup wrapped up. You know, it could be another treble where fans are thinking Rodgers wasn't the best manager in the league. Now, is that other managers that influence that, or is that just Celtic's
personally,
kind of
I think Brendan Rodgers is likely the third best manager in this league this season, behind Steve Clarke, who I think should win Manager of the Year.
So there.
Because Kelly had 1 point before he came in.
Yeah, it was.
And if he was here all season, I have no doubts Kelly would finish second.
They are 3 points off their highest points total.
And Neil Lennon at Hibs, who has shown this season Celtic have beat them once.
A lot of people forget that this is
a semi-final.
And they should have broke the undefeated run as well.
Beat Celtic at the weekend, drew with
we
Celtic
got away
twice.
with it, and then did we not get beat against Hearts the next week? Was it Hibs? Was it not?
Do you think that's kind of down to Hibs were allowed to spend for the first time in a while almost?
I think
but they didn't really. They worked with what they had. They're two best players by a country mile, two of the best players in the Premiership, and John McGinn, and then Matip for Player of the Year, Dylan McGeoch. Dylan McGeoch has been the best player in this league.
Sticking to Brendan Rodgers,
every time I've watched,
and where he's gonna, if he does leave, I'm kind of torn whether he would go Arsenal or Chelsea. I think he kind of still wants to be with Chelsea.
I don't think either of them will want him.
He was academy manager when Jose Mourinho was there, and I'm kind of torn whether. I think it's for both jobs. I think it's between Rodgers and Luis Enrique. But I think if Luis Enrique,
that's a different.
I think if Luis Enrique goes to Chelsea, then he brings Luis Suarez with him, and I think Griezmann goes to Barcelona. If he goes to Arsenal, then I don't think he brings Suarez with him.
I mean, see if Chelsea want to do a swap deal with us and we get Antonio Conte, I will not be complaining whatsoever. But I don't see that happening, funnily enough.
I think Chelsea need to get it right as well.
Chelsea can't afford to get it wrong again.
But then, do they have to? Because they've had a merry-go-round of managers, but they've always stayed successful.
They haven't. I don't think they've fallen this far off since winning a title. They won the league and then have been that poor this season. Liverpool went to Stamford Bridge and beat them, didn't they?
Yeah. That's coming up. That's next week.
Spurs beat them for the first time.
Spurs beat them for the first time at Stamford Bridge for how long? Man City absolutely demolished them, I'm sure.
Man City demolished them 1-0. They should have been a lot more, but it was 1-0.
But
and
I mean, coming back again,
they've got Liverpool coming there in a couple of weeks. So
coming back again to like Enrique and Rodgers, if you're a Chelsea fan and you're told, I want Brendan Rodgers who can win you a treble in Scotland, or do you want Luis Enrique who won Barcelona a treble of the Copa del Rey?
Did Chelsea not want Dembele in January?
I don't think
was
so. There was no bid.
Was there a medical?
Surely you'll cash in on him now.
I don't know.
Do you think he takes Dembele with him wherever he goes? Where he goes next?
I think that's for Dembele to decide.
That's for Dembele to decide.
Do you think Enrique could take Suarez with him, considering Griezmann's going to Barcelona,
I
probably.
think Suarez enjoys playing with Messi too much.
Do you think he would be fine rotating with Griezmann?
I don't think he'd need to rotate with Griezmann.
Do you not think he would? No.
I think Griezmann would maybe be brought in. If they're going to sign him this year, I don't have a clue what their plan is with him, but I don't. I can see Griezmann being brought in as a replacement for Suarez eventually.
Yeah.
Is this Iniesta's last season as well?
I think
Yeah,
so.
he's on his way to
yeah.
China.
We
Or Real Betis.
And
I
that's
heard
why
as
they
well,
brought
but
Coutinho in to play there.
we touched on perhaps Celtic needing a manager next season. The other side of Glasgow, it looks by the week almost that the Rangers show.
Keeps going on.
Definitely.
Rolls on. The
Ultimania.
banner.
There's been a few names linked with the job. Obviously, De Boer's been named. Steve Clark, of God forbid, if he goes there.
Steve
I'll
Clark's a
try
Celtic
myself
fan.
to-
Celtic
Paul-
man.
it's
That
Paul
doesn't
Little.
really mean
He's
anything.
been linked with the job in January, but
Has Paul Little not been named the Osteson's manager?
Aye.
yeah,
I think.
but the biggest name in the I still
Came
can't
out
believe,
today.
I can't believe I'm saying this, but
Yeah.
Steven Gerrard linked with the job.
That's mad. That's just
I wouldn't
one of the
mind it.
ones.
I wouldn't mind it. He's never managed anybody.
People put money on it, and I thought.
Being an under 18s or under 21s, whatever he is with
He's
Liverpool, 23s.
18's manager, 23's manager for Liverpool.
I don't
and
think
the-
that
and
correlates
the 19's
into-
team in the Youth Champions League got to the semi-final.
See, I don't think
so
that correlates into coming to Scotland and overthrowing the most dominant force that Scotland's seen
I
for.
think he was dead grateful the fact that Liverpool gave him
Aye,
that
aye.
job because he was in LA and he came back and he got a job, a good job
Straight-
straight
aye,
away.
straight
So I
away.
don't think he would leave like 2 years into settling back
From-
to where he wants to be.
For a job where he's right into
he
the
gets to be at
frying pan.
Melwood like every day. Do you know what I mean?
From what I read an article or something the other day, and it said that they were apparently just bedding him in for the next five or so years before when Klopp leaves, so that he can just be a natural successor. But I don't know how that would work. I don't know if he needs to go out and manage another job before it, manage another team.
So we'll just finish it. Will Gerrard go? Yes or no?
No.
Rangers.
Nah, that's just a money spell.
No.
Definitely.
Who are we going for then?
I think the Bulls also shout. He was linked with it before. Alright, didn't have the best Crystal Palace run.
Or Ajax.
Or
Inter.
Ajax. But I mean, Rangers fans want him. Well, some of them do. He's been a kind of a member of the Rangers, obviously in the past. So I think my hat goes for De Boer.
I've no idea who would even want the job.
Nah,
To
they
be
are.
honest.
Yeah.
I'm
Bit of a
saying
poison
Martinelli.
chalice. I'm going for Alan Pardew.
Go on. Alan Pardew.
Right, we're moving on to Gregor.
So basically, after the whole Mark McGee of last season,
Oh,
Get out my
Dark
face.
signs,
still
dark
bitter,
times.
10
I
months
can
ago.
still see that video.
Got beat 7-2 off Aberdeen away, which was one of his last games. 5-1 at home to Dundee was a terrible one. It was 4-0 at half time. To go from that to Stephen Robinson taking over, I think it was like that's
Few
8
games
weeks
left
of
of
the
last
season or
season.
something.
Aye.
Didn't have much left. Kept us up. A lot of people considered him the cheap option. Weren't really happy because he'd been here before as assistant manager to who's it about to get sacked?
Barraclough.
Barraclough, the whole bust up in the changing room. So he was assistant manager before, came back up. At the end of last season, he only had 11 players signed on the books because obviously we don't give out a lot of big contracts. He signed over 10 players in the summer, and this season we've been to 2 cup finals for the first time since 1950s. Narrowly missed out in the top 6, I think, solely due to the fact that no one's seen Steve Clark coming out anywhere.
Yeah.
Aye.
Coupled with the fact we still don't have a lot of depth in the team, so over Christmas when we played Celtic 3 times in a row, took a lot of injuries, 2 or 3 players in our team got injured. You're talking, you're not going to be able to replace that, so you start losing points. But apart from that, I would say the feeling amongst Motherwell fans is it's the best team we've seen in my era.
Since Higton.
Well, I still dream about that team. I'm still lucky to be alive. I seen that
Since
boy
player
score.
of the year,
I seen him
Michael
score a
Higton.
hat trick and an overhead kick. I still don't know how he done it. I would love to, if I could live in a fantasy world, I'd play
Higton and Moult.
Higton and what?
With Maine.
One of my arguments is I think Maine's better than Moult because
I think he's got more
He
about
gets,
him
he
than
gets
than
in
Moult.
about it more.
I don't know what foot he is. No, he took a penalty with his left and then he took a free kick with his right in the same game.
Aye.
I don't know.
He's just a complete workhorse.
He's-
That's
he's
what.
the-
That's
he's
the
the
vibe I
exact
got.
Oh,
off
I know
him.
what his gym routine is, man. The boy's an actual.
He's the exact kind of player that you don't want to play against, isn't he? Especially when you've got Dedrick Boyata at centre back.
He's very nippy as well.
I mean,
He's rapid.
Yeah.
He's the Higton that
aside
didn't eat.
for Kelly, because nobody wants to play Kelly.
No.
The one team that, as again a Celtic fan, I wanted to avoid in that cup final was Motherwell because they're just
I think over like the
There's
last
just
2
something-
seasons,
He's
like,
got a big
something
nasty
aye.
bastard up front.
Aye, but it's like they're just so difficult to play against because they've got a kind of lesser level of everything. They've
Yeah.
got big keeper at the back who
who
has-
signed
has-
3 contracts.
who
in
has
1 year.
who has the potential to be a
He'll go
cracking
far,
centre
he'll
back.
be
Absolutely.
The thing is, though, when I watched the Motherwell Aberdeen semi-final, I was sitting down and I watched the first 20 minutes of it, and it was just long balls, forcing Aberdeen to play them. And you know, it's not a great advertisement for the Scottish game,
But it's
see,
effective.
That's how Motherwell set up. They've got the wingers and the pressing game. They shut a team who like to play in the deck, Aberdeen, but they just couldn't get out. And again, rolled over them, and that's how they won.
Can that work against Celtic?
It does.
I think
well,
it
because-
has worked
it's been
before.
shown
Well,
before.
yeah,
was,
yeah,
like,
not to
was that not Rodgers' kind of thing?
what Kelly done
Same
against
as at
Celtic.
Liverpool, like if he presses, he wants you to go long ball. But if that's Motherwell's strength, then
Curtis
it works.
Main can bully.
See, that's the
Oh,
thing.
yeah,
If
for a fact.
if we press and want them to go long ball, that's pish tactics, especially with who we have playing centre half.
Yeah, there's been
Dedrick
no way
Boyata,
Celtic do
Jozo
that.
Simunovic, even Chris Ayer, a lot of the time cannot deal with a long ball. And if Curtis Main gets in about Dedrick Boyata and about Jozo Simunovic,
Challenging Craig
He'll
Gordon
definitely
from
get
corners.
some. But that's
he
the
wins.
thing.
He wins at least 4.
I just want
out
a
of
fair
10.
ref, but
I think that's what I was going to touch on soon and all, because we've had obviously the semi final. I think we were dominant enough that we'd have won the game anyway. The sending off was daft. Scott Sinclair, I've been a big critic of this season. Watching every game I go to, sitting in the Celtic end, sitting in my season ticket seat, I just sit and think you've dived again and again and again, and I don't understand why.
But for the penalty, was it not a shirt pull on the red card though? Was it
He
not?
didn't touch him.
It's not a red
He's
card.
been going down all
And
season.
it's
Then
not
it's not. It's
bad.
not really. But if you're looking at rules of the game, it's kind of
I mean-
his intent was to pull the shot and not get the ball, so it's a red
The
card.
thing is
but-
with Thompson, and it is Thompson.
Thompson's a
He's
ref.
sent off 5 SPL players this season. and
3 of them have been
So is
keeper.
Thompson
and
confirmed
5
for
of them
cup
have been
final
Motherwell
referee?
players.
3 keepers
The
and
refereeing
cards.
standards in Scotland's poor, but
I mean, you've seen it. You've just seen it. I think. I know Celtic and Rangers go on about the referees this, but I think you need to look no further for incompetence than Motherwell with some of the decisions they've had against them in the last couple of years. It is
final.
absolutely shocking. Even just the games I've been at.
From the fact when Ryan Bowman elbowed Cardoso,
Aye.
the whole media storm, he never got booked.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I've never been a fan of
Well,
Motherwell
what
the
about
way
in
that they play,
the
but
cup
like,
final
They've
earlier
got a
this season?
reputation,
Then?
Motherwell have been kind of
aye. And I think the referees look at the reputation more.
When you've
Yeah.
got a
But then
budget.
there's other times that it does continue to show the incompetence that they get away with some things.
I think
What
it's
about the decision in the cup final earlier this season then?
The
The
penalty.
Penalty, yeah.
the dive.
I never touched him.
Mm.
I was right behind the goal.
So is that
Looking
going
on
to
it.
play in anyone's mind? Do you think
That'd be-
going into this game?
I think it always plays in your mind, but I think
depends
that's
who the
part and
ref
parcel
is.
of being at.
The only thing is, because Thompson's retiring,
Mhm.
they usually give them the Scottish Cup
Aye.
final.
I think it's part and parcel of being a Scottish football
Is
fan
there-
getting into
is
games
there
thinking
rules
what's the
in
ref going
Scotland?
to do.
Because in England, the referees are only allowed to referee the FA Cup final
Aye.
once in their career.
Because
so
it is a thing.
Never knew
It's a well-known thing that people go into a ground every single game, going to their pals. Who's the ref? Who's the ref? Who's the ref?
Yeah.
yeah.
That's it in Celtic Park.
Exactly,
Every game,
who's
there's
the ref?
always someone that's asking who's the referee
Because you know them.
You know because of previous.
I doubt anywhere else in Europe that.
Is that because
Yep.
it's too poor of a standard?
Aye,
I sit in the stands at Kilmarnock,
100%.
and Nick Walsh.
Scottish referees
twice-
are the poorest
twice,
in Europe.
I've watched at home Dundee in the game there against Aberdeen. The decisions he was making for both sets of
But they're all
teams,
different levels of poor. They're all like Willie Collum likes having it all about himself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He likes his sensory
He's like the Mike
deprivation
Dean,
and his
yeah.
whistle.
That's
Scottish
exactly what I
Mike
was
Dean.
going to say.
I
He's the
don't,
Scottish
I don't,
Mike Dean.
I don't get it with
Hairline
Willie
and
Collum.
all.
I don't get it with Willie Collum because a couple of years ago, there was, who was it? It was Bayern Munich Porto or something, and Porto were 2-1 up or 3-1 up from the first leg. Then the second leg comes, he sends off a Porto player in the first minute. Then 3 days later, he's doing Alloa's relegation playoff. So
Right.
how does he go from Bayern Munich to Alloa Athletic?
I think the most scathing one was when Craig Thompson, who again bears the brunt of a lot of criticism in Scotland, was refereeing in Europe. It was a Turkish game. I can't remember whether it was Besiktas, Fenerbahce or Galatasaray, and he had to get a police escort to the airport coming home because he was that bad.
Yeah.
I think he'd sent off 2 of the Turkish side players, and he'd given a penalty against them, I think, and he had to get an armed escort back to Istanbul airport to come home because he was that poor.
Right, so Thompson's refereeing the final. What we're going with predictions for the final then? Are we going?
But like,
We don't know who's
from
refereeing
my
the final
point of
yet.
view, it's the same as League Cup final. It was a decent game up until then, and see if we go out and play and it's a fair game and Celtic beat us, I'll be happy to go home and be like,
Yeah.
that was a good game. You just want a fair shot
Aye,
at it.
it's not ideal. I'd rather I played Aberdeen.
I'd rather have played Rangers.
So,
I think everyone would have to Rangers at this point.
so we'll move on. We'll talk about, obviously, PFA have just had their team of the year for the Premier League, but we'll do our team of the season for the top five leagues. For top five leagues in Europe, so pick from England, Spain, Italy, Germany, and France.
Right.
I don't think there'll be any from France.
Many
I don't
this
think there is.
season,
It's
but-
just the 4 leagues.
So I think
Aye.
goalkeeper, you're looking at an obvious one for me this season.
The best goalkeeper in
I
the
think it
world.
was,
David
I think
De
it
Gea.
was unanimous
David De Gea.
who it was.
I think
Yeah,
It was
went
pretty
for
unanimous.
He
He-
keeps Manchester
He,
United in European
he wins
places.
them about 12, 15 points a season with the saves that he makes.
Are we going any honourable mentions? I think because De Gea's an obvious one.
Marc-Andre Ter Stegen for
Ter
Barcelona.
Stegen.
I mean, you could always say Buffon, but the way he
I
went out
think
in
no.
the
I
Champions
think
League,
Buffon's been
the tightness
very
of the
poor this
Serie A,
season. I think
Buffon
he's
has been
been
quite poor.
third or fourth best goalie in the Italian league. So
Put
Aye.
Ederson in there as
And then
well.
obviously-
and obviously
Ederson.
Edison and Alisson have had good
Ederson has
seasons,
actually
but
But can you?
Do you know
You
who's
can't
been
really-
quietly brilliant for a few years now? Pepe Reina at Napoli.
yeah.
I think he's kind of found a second home.
He's found his niche.
He's been
there.
quietly very, very good.
Do you think this is kind of Neuer petering off now? I know he's been out the whole season with 2 broken ankles. Yeah, he redone it, but
The same ankle.
you redone the same ankle in training. But
I don't think Neuer will ever peter. I think he's just that good.
Yeah.
But I do still believe that a fully fit Neuer and a fully fit David De Gea is a better goalkeeper.
say Neuer comes back. Do you think it's fair if he starts at this World Cup, or do you think Ter Stegen deserves to start?
I'd have Ter Stegen
Mm-hmm.
on form alone.
It just depends.
That's the
on
thing.
Yeah.
Germany
Because he
have
can
such
do
a good
everything
pool.
Neuer can do, but he's younger.
Germany have such a good pool of goalkeepers as
Yeah.
well. Because they've got Kevin Trapp, they've got
Ralph
Bert Leno.
So we're kind of decided on De Gea. So we'll go with a back four. We'll go 4-3-3. So Kyle Walker at right back then. City.
Walker for
Champions.
City.
There's no real standout right back, was there?
Joshua
Mhm.
Kimmich, but he's more of a utility player.
Even Alves at PSG, I mean, it's expected to do
Aye,
that
he's-
well.
And then he's kind of
He's never done
Alves.
anything in Europe.
Alves has been rotating with Thomas Meunier. So
Aye.
He's coming to the end of his career, so isn't he?
Mhm.
He's getting on a bit now. So I mean, Kyle Walker, I think many were criticising why he was in the English team of the year. But
Yeah.
when I think about it, Walker for the past 3 or 4 seasons has been criticised for he can't actually defend. He's just got pace. But see, when you watch
Yeah.
him in games,
Mhm.
he's very consistent.
he is very
He's-
good.
He's an intelligent footballer.
And
he
has
brings an
anyone
attacking option.
talked at all about him costing 50 million quid?
No.
No.
Whereas
So I
what
think
did you hear?
that's-
What did you hear
justified.
of last season?
But is
Because he
that,
didn't hit the ground running, Paul Pogba.
Yeah.
Oh, he's not worth this much.
is
Not
that
worth this
because
much.
the
you know what I mean?
transfer market's just been gotten to a ridiculous stage?
Aye,
Or is
50
it the
million
fact,
seems
is it
reasonable,
the
isn't it?
fact that they signed
Aye.
this season,
Aye.
like Van Dijk, who came in for ridiculous money, because it is
70?
75.
People hardly mention that as well. Even the money, purely because Coutinho
And
Coutinho
Neymar.
was sold at the same
I
time,
know.
basically.
Coutinho, Neymar, and Dembele have kind of shot the market straight up. haven't
Kylian
they?
Yeah.
Mbappe winning.
It's a
goals
big
as well.
domino effect because then you're talking
Mbappe's not even been paid for
somebody,
yet.
somebody
I
was
know.
trying to buy, what was it, like Sam Vokes or something with Burnley, and they were talking about 20 odd million.
Yeah,
It's like-
Chelsea wanted Ashley Barnes in
Yeah, that
January.
was
so-
it.
Andy Carroll as well.
They went through every
He went
single
for the
English
money,
striker, like
Aye, aye.
lanky English striker, on the market.
Centre halves.
I think you have to go with him. Although he might want to leave Barcelona, I think you're looking at Samuel Umtiti. I think.
What, do you think he'll go to PSG? Go home?
Nah, well,
I've always been
I
a
would-
big
I
fan of
think
Gerard
he-
Piqué, but I think he's outshone him this year.
I don't want to say he would go to Man United, but if he wants to go there, then he's welcome. But I would rather have someone like Toby Alderweireld. He's going to
Umtiti
cost
and-
half the price.
but
'cause
then
that's
you've
the
got
way-
to look-
Alderweireld runs a very big injury risk because there's been 2
Yeah.
seasons now at Spurs where he's just missed a large portion of the game just because he can't.
Yeah,
fit.
but I think he's on one of the lowest contracts at Tottenham because everyone
Is it
else
50 grand
signed
a year?
a new contract. He's on about 80,000. That's still a
yeah,
lot
but
of money.
still
But
a
you hear about Alderweireld and he's holding out for I think it's 110 or something like grand, and Spurs also have the wage structure.
yeah,
So, I mean, the reason he's not got the money is because he's refusing to sign a contract. I think he just wants out.
yeah, that's why he's not playing as well.
Yeah,
So
that is-
we'll go with Umtiti at Barcelona. Unbeaten so far in the league, aren't they? So
Yeah.
he's going to be in a
Aye.
stalwart.
He's got the
And they
fourth
won the Copa del Rey.
Mhm.
Thumped Sevilla 5-0.
Yeah. Next, Tim.
We went for the Roman
I'd,
centre back.
I'd say
The Roman
there's
lad
two, but we've decided in Costas Manolas.
Costas Manolas.
Again,
It's good picks.
there's been no real standout centre halves across Europe this season, has there?
I think De Vrij.
Your usual
He's done
standouts.
okay.
Scored the
De
winner
Vrij-
against
De Vrij's been
scored the
very
winner
good.
against Barcelona and
Scored the winner against
so,
Barcelona.
mhm.
I think even Ramos is kind of.
Ramos is always kind of, but I've never
Yeah.
rated
I think you
Ramos
just
very highly.
you kind of expect that from
You're
him.
not a
though.
big,
I feel
you're not a
like-
big Real Madrid fan in general. are you?
Not really, no.
You
but
can never say he's had a bad season, can he? He's
Not
probably,
really,
he could
no,
end up
but-
winning
Well, he plays for Real
another
Madrid, he
Champions League.
he's still always.
He can
if I was
lift
a Real
his,
Madrid fan,
he
he'd
can
always make
lift
me
his
nervous.
third Champions League in 4 years as Real Madrid captain. So
3 in the bounce.
3 in the bounce, 4 and 5 years as Real Madrid captain. So
I feel like this was the season for Varane to really come out and show how good a defender he really is,
Yeah,
and he's
considering-
really just not
Right
showing it
before
at
the World
all.
Cup.
Yeah, right
Mhm.
before
Was
the
he
World
in
Cup.
goal?
I mean,
I
he
don't
will
think-
he
I
will
think
he
he
will
might have
probably
been.
get in the team for France. I'd expect him to get in the
But
team
you'd
for
have- but
France.
you'd have-
I mean, I've got Koscielny and Umtiti.
But you'd have
as well.
imagined that if he had that breakout season that everyone thought eventually, well, not breakout season, but the one where he solidified himself as one of the best in Europe.
Yeah.
I think so.
Remember?
But you'd definitely have France higher up in your favourites because you'd have Umtiti and Varane as your anchor.
but
To-
yet again, like Manolas is in another Champions League semi-final. But I think Manolas is kind of been a stalwart for Roma almost. Although they're not.
I think the outside shout for it is Kalidou Koulibaly
Mhm.
from
Yeah.
Napoli.
Napoli.
The goal, obviously, at the weekend there against
Yeah.
Juventus to put the title race right back on.
Mhm.
And he's just a big, scary guy, and he's
Mhm.
Still
6
going to be
foot
linked with
6.
Chelsea probably.
He's
Like
mad.
that.
Rafa
So-
Benitez signed him for 6 million off. Was it
Cracking-
Genk?
Cracking player.
And
Brilliant.
I don't even know how
Something
much
like
he's worth
60
now.
million,
Yeah,
aye.
but 60, 70 easy.
But we've gone with Manolas and Umtiti. Are we going?
Was on with Jordi Alba at left back.
Yeah,
wasn't
I think as much as he's not liked,
Andy
I think
Robertson. For
Jo-
all the
Jo-
Liverpool fans.
Jordi
Andy
Alba at
Robertson's
left
been
back. He's
cracking.
got
he? 8 assists and
Dou-
3 goals.
8 assists. All to Messi, I'm pretty sure this season. So
3 goals.
he's
For
kind of
left back.
developed almost a partnership almost.
And he
on
was
that
injured
side.
for a while, I'm sure.
Mhm.
So that kind of
Moving
rates
on
itself.
to the midfield, got
We'll
Jorginho.
go, we'll
It's
go
a-
with
it's
we'll
a
go with
kind
a
of-
3, and we'll go
it's an
with
un- it's an
one
unorthodox
sitting and
midfield.
kind of 2 3/8s in front. So
Yeah.
we're going Jorginho from Napoli then.
He's been
Yeah, I think-
seriously impressive.
Mhm.
Very, very impressive. He changed the game when he came on against Sweden. I know they still went on to go out, but
Yeah.
he was excellent
Mhm.
when I watched that. And every time I've seen him against for Napoli, he's been their tinker man.
Is he
He
going
sits
to
next to
Man
Marek
City? Do you
Hamsik.
think? Or is that
They don't need
unfair on
him.
is that
They
unfair
don't
on
need him.
Fernandinho? Do
They
you
don't
think?
need him.
I think
but
Fernandinho should feel hard done by not to be in the team.
I think
Like,
Fernandinho should be
But-
in this team. In all honesty, I've watched them. I mean, Man City are the team that I've watched more than anyone else, apart from Celtic, obviously. But I've watched them about 10, 11, 12 times this season. Fernandinho is the anchor of that team. He keeps
Yeah,
it all
allows De
going. He keeps
Bruyne
it
at
ticking.
Yeah.
How would you say Fernandinho compares to Guardiola's 2 sitters before he's had Busquets and?
I
Yeah,
think
but-
Sergio Busquets is the best holding midfielder of all time.
He's heavily underrated.
I know people don't like him because of his antics and his play acting, and he says it's all part of the game. But he is possibly the most cerebral football player there has ever been.
It's the
Would
dark
he-
arts
he
of
thinks-
football.
he
Would he
thinks
be in
ahead.
over Jorginho if he didn't have a stop-start season with injury? Do you think?
I don't know.
Don't
Well,
know.
you can't. That's if buts and maybes there. I mean, you don't know how.
I think the standard for a Napoli player to be in a team like this
Yeah.
versus the standard of the best defensive midfielder of all time and
Yeah.
a Barcelona player to get into this would need to be Barca being
Yeah.
further on in a Champions League and being more impressive in the league. I
Yeah.
know they're unbeaten. It's pretty impressive, but they've not been killing teams. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They've drawn a lot.
Are they not 30 games away from home unbeaten, Napoli? I think
They've not lost a game away from home in
in the league.
near enough 2
yeah,
years.
in the 2 years.
They've raised the standards in recent years of not only the Italian league, but even see the profile that Italian football now gets
Yeah.
on the global stage. I mean, obviously their national team, not a crisis, maybe a new chapter now, but the actual league itself is starting to raise teams that actually like to play football.
I think Italy's having a wee bit
Yeah.
of a resurgence.
Yeah,
Do you think kind of-
definitely.
Why Napoli are so close is their midfield 3 is much better than Juventus's.
I think they have depth as well
Mhm.
because they have what is it, the usual starting ones. Marek Hamsik, who's their captain, Jorginho, who, as we've already said, has been
Mhm.
excellent.
Yeah,
Alan,
and
the
then they
Brazilian,
have
and they
Diawara
have
as well.
young Amadou Diawara,
Mm-hmm.
who is a cracking player as well.
Mhm.
Zelensky
His
as well.
penalty against Man City in the
Zelensky.
Champions League, and
So-
Piotr Zielinski as well.
So, and then you look at Juventus. They've got Khedira is aging. Matuidi is also aging. They've got
Pjanic hasn't been at
Pjanic.
it.
Hasn't been
Pjanic's
at
and
it.
someone next to him.
And then you're looking at what Bentancur and
They play Domenico Storaro a lot.
Storaro.
Well,
So
I mean, that's
Channel sort of.
Chan will go at
Emre, do you think
Juventus. I think.
Emre Can Juventus then?
Yeah,
Can I
so
hear
I
the
think it's a
Liverpool
perfect fit.
Who do they don't even need to replace him.
So
That'd be great for them.
we've gone Jorginho's kind of the number 6 of sitter, and Fernandinho's an honourable mention. First of the 3-8s, we'll go Thiago then from Bayern Munich. Do you think?
I mean,
That's
we
midfield
argued,
is frightening.
we argued about, there was quite a few midfielders who could have easily walked in.
David Silva.
Yeah, there was. I mean, there was countless. I mean, they came up with before we'd done this. So, I mean, Thiago to get in there, strength to strength each season. I mean, Bayern Munich, he's one of the main men in that team. And
Is he their top scorer in the knockout stage? I think Thiago. I think this
I don't-
season.
I've heard
I
that. I
think
think
so,
I've
aye.
heard that statistic before.
But he doesn't really score poor goals either. He
No.
scores crackers all the
He's-
time.
he's moving. He's moving.
He's been quietly one of my favourite players for a long time.
Same.
He's
Do you
just
think he'll leave? Do you think Pep will get Thiago or Jorginho, one of the two? Do you
Again,
think?
I think-
City don't need midfielders.
They
Yeah.
don't, but they've got the money to do
Yeah,
so.
yeah, they do.
I think Pep will go for
he
one.
has to transition the side somehow,
I think
Can't
Pep.
do what Chelsea done and like not improve at all.
and unfortunately, it has to be David Silva or Fernandinho
Yeah.
that gets shipped out.
I think Pep will take one of the two between Isco and Thiago. I think those are the two players that he's keen on, because I've heard there's already been talk with Isco. That was the rumour that was going about a couple of weeks
I don't
ago
think he
anyway.
fancies him. I think he
See,
fancies Jorginho.
if I was Barcelona and I was going to spend £135 million on somebody like they did on Coutinho, I'd have saved that for Thiago. If you're going to
Bring
put
him
him
back.
where
He
Iniesta
was
was,
at
like a first buyback option. Or like
I think they've got first option on him. Aye, it's the same with Manolas. I'm sure they've got first option in Manolas as well.
Do you think they could take Jorginho instead as a Busquets replacement almost, or do you think it's too early for
Too
a Busquets
different.
replacement?
Too different. I don't
No.
think they need to
Mhm.
replace Busquets because it's not as if he always worked in pace.
Yeah.
Never had pace.
Mhm.
He's just, as I said, he's a cerebral
midfield
player.
three,
He's
like if you think of the classic midfield three of Barcelona of Xavi, Iniesta, Busquets,
the best
none-
midfield
none-
three
none of them
ever.
needed pace.
Aye, none of them had pace. Aye.
So we've gone Jorginho and Thiago, and then obviously we have to go Kevin De Bruyne,
De
don't we?
Bruyne, aye.
I
Yeah, well,
think he's been ridiculous.
the best player in the league.
Uh,
by a mile.
De Bruyne is the best player in the league.
You see that goal against Swansea, man?
The best. He's the best talent-wise footballer in the league. He's totally redeemed himself for his horror show under Mourinho at Chelsea.
Would you
Um,
call it a horror show?
I wouldn't
He
call it a
wasn't,
horror
He's
show.
still young, but at
I'd
the same
call it.
time,
I'd call it.
you look at him now, you think.
And then he went to obviously what was
I
it,
think that's a
Wolfsburg.
common
Well, do you
Wolfsburg-
think he's just not
Totally.
right for what Mourinho wanted at that time? Because
I
he
just
had
don't think he's a Jose Mourinho
he
player.
had Lampard, Ramirez, and
I think Mourinho kind of ruins a lot of players.
Fabregas. So
Look at Salah.
Kaka as well.
I don't
Real
think
Madrid.
you can't really say that he's ruined them
Lukaku,
because
let
they're
Lukaku
good
go.
now. If he's ruined them, then it would mean that.
Not ruined,
then
but
that's-
like,
If I was,
he like
put it
sucks
this
all
way,
the
if I was a young,
confidence.
if I was a young football player, and there was one manager in the world I wouldn't want to work under, it would be Jose Mourinho.
100% Rashford.
Do you
Marcus
think?
Rashford.
I
Even
think
Martial.
Rashford's
Anthony
fine.
Martial.
I think this from a fan perspective, I think Anthony Martial will leave. I think Rashford will
Juventus.
stay and
I'd take
retire at
him
Man
at Spurs.
United. But
In a heartbeat.
Oh, Martial at Spurs would be great.
Juventus, and they might play.
I don't
him up front
see.
with
I
Salah.
don't
That
see.
move
I
as
don't see
well.
why Anthony Martial would go to Tottenham. To be
Nah,
honest,
I don't think they could afford them.
I think you're looking at you someone like Juventus.
Well,
maybe.
I think-
Daniel Levy would buy him.
Well, obviously Tottenham are moving into their new stadium next
Champions
season. They're gonna go out, I think, and I think they're gonna go and buy a player, a big player, as a statement of
But where?
intent.
Gareth Bale
But
could
where
always-
about
always
where
been
about
big.
Well,
they're looking
I'd
what
take Martial.
centre back and left back? They're looking at Tottenham.
I mean,
If you think about it.
Kazawa's already getting like. I know he's not a big player, but he'd be an effective player
because I
for
was a
them.
fantastic player.
Kazawa.
Ben Davies.
Because
why
I
not?
were
Ben
really
Davies and
impressed
Danny
when I
Rose,
went to
we
that.
don't need a left back.
I'd sell Rose.
Well,
in a
Danny
heartbeat.
Rose is going to go in the summer, I
I'd sell
think.
When I
Do you
went,
think they'll go?
Are Man United still
Do you think they'll
interested?
try and go back for Bale if they need a right winger?
We've
I
got
don't
first
know if he
option
fits
if he wants to
anymore.
come back to Premier League.
I
Do you
don't know if he
think he
fits their
fits?
system anymore.
Because you've got what Kane and I think Ali will stay, and you have to keep Christian Eriksen in.
Oh,
so-
And Jong-min Son.
Eriksen and Son.
Eriksen's
are the
our-
players that-
Eriksen's
And,
our
and
best
people
player.
are forgetting. I know he's not had that many games, but they're forgetting that they signed Lucas
Yeah,
in January
that's
as well.
it, yeah.
And he came on. I was watching him
back.
last week, and I was like, this guy's a player. He's kind of been held back at PSG, to be honest, because I remember him coming through. Was it Sao Paulo he was playing at?
Aye.
I was
Yeah.
like, this guy's a talent. And then
Oscar.
Scolari never picked him for the 2014 World Cup, and I was like, what are you doing? And they picked Hulk instead, and obviously we know what happened there. But
Right, front three. He's beat it.
Messi,
Yeah,
Ronaldo,
certainly.
Salah.
Messi, yeah, Messi. I think Messi and Ronaldo too obvious. I think before January, Ronaldo would arguably nowhere near this team,
Yeah,
but
apparently he's finished.
But now
Everyone
he's
said
now
now
he's-
he's just
It's ridiculous.
I mean, I think what Ronaldo's done is he's looked at Chris Boyd. And he's seen that Boyd could just get a wee bit.
I think Messi's looked at Jordan Jones as well.
Took him into the gym.
And he's just realised if Chris Boyd can do it,
I can do it.
The thing is, if Ronaldo hadn't had such a good second half of the season, you could. I mean, Leroy Sané had a great start to the season as well. He could have easily been in this team if Ronaldo didn't pick up in the second half of the season. But I mean, the amount of assists he's got, and he's only 22 as well, isn't he? He's 21, 22. No, Ronaldo. He wishes. He probably still thinks like that. But,
Ronaldo's body's only 22 years old.
Yeah, he's a phenomenon.
I think the front three would be my Ballon d'Or three.
The third player went for Salah.
Yeah,
If anyone's
I think
Mohamed
it's kind of
Salah.
obvious.
yeah.
I mean, player of the
Irrespective of
year.
what happens at the World Cup,
How
I think
much-
it doesn't matter.
Of
How much
course.
did they sign him for?
There's a good question. Is like if he scores the winner in the Champions League final,
Does he the Ballon d'Or?
does he get the Ballon
He
d'Or?
has to get through Roma
He has
first.
to get there first.
I think,
Yeah.
I think it would be more an achievement for Salah to score a winner in a Champions League final, win Liverpool the Champions League. And I
Do
think
you think
I'd probably give him the
his-
Ballon d'Or for that.
Just say those three are already set as top three for Ballon d'Or. Do you think whether Salah wins it or not, say he wins the Champions League, should his World Cup performance be taken into account or not?
I think it has to.
That's
I
a
mean,
very good
it's over the
question.
year.
Because you're thinking
Yeah, that's
20,
I think
20
the only scenario in which
2014 Ronaldo won the Champions League, Messi got to the World Cup final, but Ronaldo
I think
won the Ballon
if-
d'Or that year. So
if Mohamed Salah wins the Champions League, right,
Mhm.
and obviously has been the best player for Liverpool
Yeah.
in the Champions League, I don't think his World Cup comes into it unless I don't think the World Cup comes into it at all unless Messi or Ronaldo win the World Cup.
do you think it would come into if he was playing for say Belgium or Argentina or someone like that?
If he was playing for a France, a Germany, a Spain, a big team that are expected to do something,
Yeah.
and he doesn't do what everyone says he should be.
A striker who I think should be honourably mentioned. He's not the one of the biggest world teams that he doesn't play for a Champions League side. But Ciro Immobile's goals this season
Yeah.
have been unbelievable.
I think in the same vein you've got to mention Rodrigo Moreno, as we touched on earlier at the World Cup preview.
Mandzukic.
Mario Mandzukic.
Mandzukic. I think Lewandowski's still been solid. I mean, you look at the numbers don't lie.
expected now.
I think he might go to Real Madrid. I think he'll go to Real Madrid.
So we kind of obviously you got a midfield three and a front three set there. Who are we going for honourable mentions for midfield three? We're thinking Milinkovic-Savic.
Well,
maybe?
Fernandinho,
Ericsson.
Ericsson,
Ericsson's a great shot.
Milinkovic-Savic from Lazio.
David Silva.
There's, I
You
think
keep
there's a
going
lot.
on the
You
midfield.
keep going on. It's just
And then your
Cruz.
forward three.
I
Are
would-
you looking at?
I'd put Bobby Firmino in there. I think.
Firmino's a
Firmino
shout.
in. Can we look at Harry Kane or not?
I think his injuries stops him a wee bit.
His injury
I don't
has
think he's been
hampered
massively
his
impressive either.
the talk about him. I mean,
Tap-ins.
And then
You pick that up,
Aguero doesn't stop scoring.
he's
does
just
he?
a 4-season wonder.
And I
I'm
mean,
not saying he's a bad footballer, I'm just saying he scores a lot of tap-ins. I know
Yeah.
it takes massive intelligence to get there, but
Yeah.
it's not as if he's...
he did score the big goals as well. I mean, remember the London derbies and the headers.
Doesn't
and
mean
the
they're
goal
no
outside-
tap-ins,
the
Harry.
goal outside the box, but he picks it up from the corner. and
Yeah,
goes back to the man.
that was
I mean, he
nice
scored some
goal.
good
I think he's seen that he wasn't he hadn't fulfilled all his potential yet when they came up against Juventus, because Juventus have an aging back line obviously, but they still done well to contain him, especially at Wembley. It showed me that there's still a wee bit to go with him, and I would if I was to choose one player, I would choose Aguero over Kane still.
I think a player as well quickly, Youngman Son at Spurs, if they got past Juventus and he kept going in the rich vein of form that he's in, I mean, 3 or 4 years' time he could be one of the world's best players.
See Kane
And that Tottenham Champions League kit looked lovely.
Well, in our team of the season, we got Manolas, Thiago, Ronaldo, and Salah. There, one of them is going to win the Champions League. But is that not kind of testament to their league form for all those teams?
Yeah.
Almost. Real Madrid only have one player in there.
That's because they've been
Like,
kind of
how
stopped
do they kind of transition that almost?
The thing with Real Madrid is their managers are judged in the Champions League. To them, the Champions League is almost like a domestic trophy. They go out every season expecting to win it.
Yeah, Zidane's going to need to pull off something big next season.
Do you think he stays if he wins it? Do you think he gets?
They
that?
can't
I
sack
think he does.
him
I think
if
he
won the
stays.
Champions League.
You can't sack a manager for the Champions League.
Apart from the bit of Di Matteo.
They get back Bayern.
West Brom sacked him.
Bayern's not
basically.
easy. Bayern's not an easy
Did they
game
not
at
sack
all.
Del Bosque after he won it?
Real Madrid.
Yeah, he won it at
They
Hampden.
might
He was
have,
the
actually,
manager when they
yeah.
won
Aye,
it
they
at
did,
Hampden
yeah.
Park and they sacked him. So
I mean, I'm looking at the team here. I'm just thinking, Steve Clark manages that squad. I mean, they win everything. It doesn't
Well,
matter
speak
whether-
I'd like
that-
to see them playing at
do
Rugby
we-
Park.
A
who are we
quadruple.
saying manager of the season then? Are we going with Sarri with Napoli, or do you think
Steve
Pep?
Clark.
Do you think it has to be Pep?
I mean,
I'd
I'm
be
all
behind
for Steve Clark.
Steve Clark.
I just
Clark.
think, I just think,
World manager.
Is he
Name
the
of these-
manager of the year?
None of these European ball bags.
He
Steve
put pressure
Clark.
on Hibs. He put pressure on Hibs.
I just think if Rangers gave Pedro Caixinha a wee bit more time, he would have brought out the best in Celtic.
And on that note,
Aye,
we shall end our first podcast.
Are we doing a little weekend preview then coming up?
aye.
Have we
Don't
got?
jump the gun yet, Gregor.
Yeah.
Right, aye. Basically, I think we'll just look ahead to the kind of the massive game at the weekend in Scotland.
Man United Arsenal.
Nobody cares about the English Premier League.
Wait, him?
Oh,
That's one.
Good.
So Celtic can clinch the title on Sunday.
It's
Early
all that
kick-off.
fixture nonsense was for
I know
nothing,
the whole all for
Saturday
nothing.
not planet.
The big game that the SPL or the SPFL, whatever they're called now, tried to avoid so desperately,
sounding like Hugh Keevins in there.
and aye,
A good game.
and
Title
it's
party.
happened anyway. So we went to Edinburgh for a title party at the weekend and Hibs ruined that. So
Imagine Rangers
Are you
won.
a wee bit nervous at the next stop? Are they fully confident?
do you know what? See the way we've been playing, I fully expect another draw because we've not beat Rangers at Parkhead since 2016.
There's
Well,
not-
see, to be fair, we only need a draw to win the league, though.
There's
That
not
was
a-
said.
there's
We
not
only
a
need a draw to
shadow
win the
of
league.
doubt.
You know why I win the league against
No,
that,
no, no.
There's not a
We've-
shadow of doubt in my
we-
mind that Celtic are lifting. Are going to be crowned champions
We-
this weekend.
We haven't beat them in the league at Parkhead. Well, at Parkhead full stop since 2016 when
Which
we
is a
mauled them
bit-
5-1,
Which is a bit.
1-1,
iffy, isn't
0-0,
So it was.
We're just,
and it's
Marty
been.
has clearly lost just the plot. I mean, he's suspended his
Kenny Miller
captain.
hat-trick.
Kenny Miller, who's now.
His
one of
captain's
the
been injured all
Celtic
season
players
though. Lee
going.
Wallace has been injured all
they've
season.
suspended him.
Where's the leadership? Where's that leadership in that team? Where's Matty said?
Still-
You need to go.
Daniel
now, you need to-
Candeas, mate.
I just
think-
think. I
think
think
Lee
Celtic
Wallace-
will likely clinch it at the weekend because Rangers will likely not be up for it because they've
Narrowly, do you
nothing to
think?
play for.
Narrowly, do you think then?
I
Or do you
don't
think it'll
even.
be-
I know it's stupid to say they won't be up, but the players didn't look up for it
No,
No.
they didn't.
at Hampden, and I think that their
They
best
should-
chance of beating
They
Celtic.
just want the season to be done, don't they?
Aye,
Yeah.
they want their holidays, and that's probably
Which is silly because their season's not over. They're
And
not
I
guaranteed
think-
second.
aye
They're not
exactly.
going to finish
exactly.
second.
But I think it doesn't really massively
Maybe
matter
finished
to
up.
teams anymore because it's the top four that get European now, innit? Europa
Yeah.
League qualifiers.
Obviously Celtic
It could
won
get to the point
the
where
cup then.
Kelly
it
could
could
get
get
in that.
it could
Nah,
get to
I
the
think
point
they'll
where
still fight.
Rangers are cheering on Celtic in the final so that they get into Europe with the
It
European
might be.
spots.
It might actually be.
Which
but-
I don't think Rangers are going to drop out top three, but second place.
I don't know. I find right. So
Aberdeen
Stop the
can't
double
get
dribble.
I
the
think
What if-
Aberdeen will finish fourth.
what if-
Honestly, I
what-
think they're absolute bottle merchants.
Can
I say
Rangers
they-
cope with European qualifiers?
No.
If they've got a new manager
I
coming
don't
in?
think anyone in Scotland can cope with it, including Celtic this
Too
season.
much.
I
They
don't
certainly
even
need to
think-
Good for the
progress in
beer
Europe,
team. See if
to
we
be
get it.
honest.
See if we get it.
It's a nice
It's brilliant
bit,
for us. But
Right. So who do we think, aside for Celtic probably clinching the title on Sunday, but who do we think will finish second?
Hibs,
Hibs.
I'd say Hibs.
Hibs.
which is remarkable. 'Cause the first season
I
back.
think
Don't
Hibs are the
Hibs
second
not
best
ha-
team in the league.
The
I
Hibs
think-
not have to rely on Rangers and Aberdeen
No,
getting
no,
beat.
no.
No?
If they beat
They just
everybody
win their
else.
games.
Because
Okay.
they beat us.
They've got
so-
Rangers at home.
Rangers,
last game
Rangers
of
at
the
Easter
season.
Road.
If you beat Rangers and Hibs,
Aberdeen
then is that
away.
basically Hibs second then, do you think?
Depends what Aberdeen do.
The thing is,
Hibs
Hib-
don't need to beat Kelly.
No.
It's a tough game as
They've
well.
got- Rangers need to play.
I can see Kelly
Kilmarnock at home, and then it's Aberdeen away, and Hibs.
Hibs.
Yeah.
Aye.
Which is why I'm thinking that the Rangers will get. I think the Rangers will get second.
Right.
I think it'll be tight. It will be tight, but I just think they will.
Right, so if we just go round, finish it off with our prediction for Sunday, and then we'll wrap it up.
I'm going to go 3-1 Celtic.
I'm also thinking 3-1 Celtic.
it's getting to that stage of the season, like the past couple of seasons, I'm going for 5-1 Celtic.
Yeah, me.
Jesus.
I'd say, I'll say 2-0 Celtic. Musa Dembele's back, and he
Yeah.
gives us a lot
I'll go
more.
with-
He
than-
suits
I'll
that
go
new
with
top,
I'll
by
go
the
with
way.
an unconvincing 2-0.
So will I.
And on that is the end of our first podcast. Join us next week, hopefully, for another one.
That has been a pleasure.
Thanks very much, guys.
Pleasure.
Right, pleasure.